Gang, gang. All right, so this is a quick live, okay? I'm just hopping up on here to get into the basics of alchemy. I felt called to get into the basics of alchemy, and specifically, as far as the basics of alchemy, understanding how nature works. Because basically, almost no one in the world seems to understand how nature works. Especially like science, like modern science, all these modern systems, they really are trying to understand how nature works. So it's annoying because ancient cultures, indigenous cultures, this was very basic knowledge of how nature works. Like, how do we create nature so we can experience each other? Because the fact is, you're only able to be aware because you're in a natural environment. So it literally takes nature for us to connect. And like, we can't avoid that. This is why we all have to respect nature or whatever. Like, literally, we all have to respect the environment that we're in, because we have to understand that we're creating it so we can connect with one another. Otherwise, we would be alone. Okay, so the universe is like one big natural pool of water that connects all of our spaces. This is why all of life in the universe is water-based. Like, no matter where you go, you're gonna have to look for water if you want to find life. And even scientists and everything in this world, like, they know this, right? So we're lost in like the modern scientific community where we're calling this place that 70% water Earth. All right, it's 70% water. Your body's 70% water. We should be calling it planet water, but we call it Earth because people here don't care about water. Like, this government actively poisons water, right? Your water is constantly poisoned. Our air is constantly poisoned. Our land is constantly poisoned, and everything is poisoned so that it can get into our body because we're all connected by water. So even this, like, the companies know that if they pump garbage into the air, you're going to breathe that garbage. So they're going to get those particles into your body anyway. And that's why we've got to fast. Nice to see you again, bro. Absolutely. Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, it's been, this app is hilarious. Like, this algorithm really controls the world. And I really underestimated how hard the people who made this app are like watching and like gathering information. And I comprehend, I get, like, the whole point of putting this technology in our hands is so that they can actually collect our information, right? So now this app is constantly learning about you based on who you like. And now they can like sell your info to some other business and like advertise to you this way. And as we go into the metaverse, that's supposed to be the future. You know, that's supposed to be lit. It's pretty wild. Yeah, bro, going to fast right now. We're in here looking for better sources of water without fluoride. Yeah. Any recommendations? We got to filter our water. So I'm alive right now because I care about climate change. I don't want to see this simulation go through climate change. And the main idea that's causing climate change that people believe is that it's too late to do anything. Bro, like, people have been saying it's too late to stop climate change for like over 30 years now. Come on. Like, it's literally that idea. It's that belief that makes climate change impossible to stop. Like, that's like saying, oh, it's impossible for me to get ripped. Okay, so if you believe that it's impossible for you to get ripped, are you ever going to go to the gym enough to even create the situation where you can? Right? Like, this is how we have to see that our beliefs create our reality right now. Like, whatever ideas you believe, that dictates how you communicate so that you can build some kind of life of whatever you want to experience. So just the idea that it's too late to stop climate change was an idea created by the people who want to keep climate change going. So now everyone can comfortably support climate change while acting like there's nothing we can do about it. Disgusting. So this is why we're talking about Hermeticism. Okay, Hermeticism is something that I've created as Hermes Trismegistus to explain how space creates the universe so our forms of consciousness can experience life through these physical vessels. So now, no matter what you see in physical reality, you'll get how it's connected to the soul and the spirit. All right, so no matter what body you interact with, you will be able to see these hermetic principles and these hermetic elements at play. All right, because all of physical reality is literally fire, water, air, and earth transforming together. So we're constantly bringing life into death. Like, people don't think about physical reality like that, right? Like, people think about physical reality as it is life, and we need to cling on to it as long as possible. Spirituality, All right. It's knowing that you have to create a life to express how you die. So again, flip. All right. So physical reality is a death realm and you have to bring life to it. That's what I'm doing with this body right now. If my spirit was not beating my heart, this body would be dead. So that doesn't mean I need to cling on to this body like it's literally me. I remember all these past lives. I have all these other bodies. I know that I have to transform into a simulation and out of the simulation. And my mind and my soul hold on to all those memories and those experiences so I can carry on those connections and build upon that stuff over lifetimes. Now, my life as a spirit makes sense. So no matter what simulation I go into, no matter how lost this world is, I can bring the caduceus to provide some tripsy clarity, all right? Because everything's psychedelic. That's why they call me as Hermes, your psychedelic psychopomp. Trismegistus is triple C. It's all about becoming thrice great and tripling your communication ability. I'm Chase Clarence Calloway, CCC. Literally, it's about connecting with your spirit so you know that you are the one alchemizing your life into existence. Now, death is life. You feel so like there's no death. Like this is like then where you're constantly creating life. All right. So once we have this awareness, then we can literally see how every religion's created. This is why, as Hermes, messenger of the gods, I'm literally called away to build religions. So this is, you can Google me, all right? Literally, you can hop off of this live real quick, go on to Google and come back and literally see how Hermes built Judaism, Christianity, and basically every modern religion, all right? And they all recognize me as the messenger. They all recognize Mercury in astrology, okay? Because everything is astrological before you can even get lost in the I'm the one God, and then someone else makes a religion like I'm the one God, and then someone else is like I'm the one God, and now you have 10 people saying they're all the one God, but they're all using astrology that they didn't create. Come on, guys. Come on. So it's just ego stuff, all right? This is like, like literally as Hermes, I'm chilling on Mercury, just watching the whole universe unfold forever. And I promise you, it's individuals fighting with other individuals forever. I like to think of it not as fighting, but vibing. Okay. But obviously, if you're vibing in a harmonious way, you're going to play. But if you vibe in a low vibrational way, you're going to fight. All right. So it's like, it's both. You know, people play and fight all the time, right? That's relationships and stuff. Gang, 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 gang. Oh, yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, these comments are nonsense right now. Of course, shout out you, Nicholas. But hey, you know, that's why people just say anything. So this is hell, right? So literally when you're in hell, when you know that you're in hell, hell is when you're connecting with someone outside of yourself. So I know who I am, right? So it doesn't matter what other people think of me, but that's me in heaven because only I know who I am. Literally, I can see my actual imagination. The moment I create a body in this realm, all you can do is perceive me as black or the N-word or however the government has trained you to perceive people who look like me. Even though I'm literally a spirit using these elements to express my mind. So now you can literally look up everything that I talk about with the mind. But of course, it takes someone to listen, right? It takes you literally being in a high vibration to actually connect and get what I'm talking about. So, hey, that's just how it be. So we're just talking about the alchemy, literally, and that's a perfect example. I, as Hermes, that's my ego, right? So literally, that's completely separate from you. And literally, I can make up a new ego, which I have. I'm Chase Clarence Calloway. But guess what? Now that's relatable to you because it's grounded in this reality. So all you can do is see your physical reality, right? You're connected to physical reality. And I have to jump into physical reality to connect with you. This is the universe. Otherwise, I would be in my own reality and you would never reach the vibration to hang out on Mercury with me or hang out in Atlantis with Anubis. You would never reach the vibration to hang out in higher spaces. You would just stay stuck down here, being lost in working and slaving away for other people and feeling like you are the body and like you have to eat forever and do this and that and just follow rules and be held down. So this is hell. Like hell is connecting with people outside of yourself because you're not in control of how others perceive you. Right? So this is how the indigenous peoples got all their land stolen. All the indigenous peoples are individuals here, yet Christians, because they believe that we're all an extension of their imagination, now they can enslave us, lie about it, and say that they were justified, even once the truth comes out, because we're all just one God anyway. So I'm only here to talk about how you're God. Like, if you don't want to like actually take responsibility for being like a full God inside of yourself, then you're going to tell me I'm not who I am. And now I have to listen to you tell me who I am. So now it's just a funny thing of like, oh, tell me who I am. And then it's just you being like, you're just a meat sack. You're just what the government told me you are. You're just particles. And I am now, it's just me listening to your ego. So everyone's in their fucking ego. And the ego and God are the same energy, all right? So when we understand that this is fire, we can get the Hermetic alchemy of what makes life work, all right? Because you don't see fire in nature. Nature isn't fire-based, it's water-based. That's because fire is not a relatable element. Water is a relatable element. Literally, water makes fire relatable. So I, as Hermes, have my own ego, but then my soul is my ability to connect my ego with you, which can only happen through a body. So that's why my soul has to beat this heart so I can communicate through something. And now I'm communicating through something in a way that makes sense based on how my soul for the last 24 years has connected with this language and all the ideas in this world. So now, because my soul can make the connections of all these ideas in the world, my mind can more clearly communicate how I feel about them. This is what we're all doing. So again, this is just the alchemy of communication. Literally, when you understand that your ego and your soul are constantly being combined so that your mind can communicate your perspective into something, because that's literally what you're doing right now. Like, I don't give a fuck what religion you're in. All you're doing is communicating your perspective, which is really your imagination, and making it real. So now you're constantly adding on to the universe with our ideas, with our imaginations. Like right now, if I didn't hop up on this live stream, then I would not have used my soul to connect my ego with yours. So I would not be creating the vibration to feel like sharing my individual ideas with you. And now, because I am doing that, because I am cultivating this vibration that makes me feel like I want to connect, I can actually create the circumstance where I use my mind to share ideas through something that makes sense. And that's what we call Earth. Boom. Right. So now we have the structures and everything. You can learn way more about this in my website, by the way. So link in the bio. I'm just hopping up here real quick because I felt called to like get this snappy and simple for us. Because life makes way more sense when you understand elements, you know, like, and we're just so lost in this world because the periodic table has us completely just messed up by a bunch of made up elements. But when you understand the emotions and that your emotions are actually alchemizing your space into a structure, now you can understand why you as a spirit are observing a body. That's what you've been doing your whole life. Your whole life, you've been observing your body. You can't tell me you haven't been. You'd be lying, right? So this is what we're talking about. Why did you create a body? And how come you can manipulate your body to do what you want? Like, how come my mind can move my body to communicate? Because, like, obviously I'm doing it. Like, you would have to tell me that your God is manipulating me to basically tell me that I'm not the one who's communicating right now and that I'm not an individual. And again, that's the like religious mindset that most of the world is in. Like, everyone's like literally lost in believing that we're all one extension of one imagination, like one idea, or like hella people believe we need to go back to source. But it's like source is your own soul. Like, your own space is always your source. It would make no sense for me to have a source and then feel like I need to go to my own source based on how someone else told me about it. Like, so this is the whole thing with religion. Like, religion can only work in connection, but for something to connect, it had to be made up first. So if you have your own awareness of your space, that means you are God, because you've already made up your idea of who you are before you decide to connect with others. So now your life right now is like a whole journey of figuring out how you feel about your individuality. Do you feel like you're an individual enough to stand on your own? Or do you feel like you have to support individuals who are bigger than you, right? And that's where we get religions. That's where we get the whole idea of just governments and gods in general. And literally thinking that you always have to be connected to something else in order to experience yourself, which is the complete opposite. of life. Again, heaven is you being alone in your space because you can do whatever you want and you can actually express your ego in a way that allows you to be infinite. Whereas the moment you connect with a space outside of yourself, you see this in all relationships, all right? So everything I talk about here spiritually only trickles down, as above, so below, literally, okay? So everything I talk about elementally, it trickles down into relationships and stuff. When you understand that basically masculine energy is fire, feminine energy is water, your mental child energy is air, and then the body that you're creating is your earth, which is the demon. Now dying makes more sense, right? So I made this body so I can express my child. And my child is created from my spirit having constant internal esoteric sex. This is why I created the caduceus. That's what this represents. It literally represents how space creates the body by not having sex with others. All right, because snakes represent your ability to like slither in and speak your way into someone else's garden, right? That's why snakes are seen as sinful, because they're so sexual. They can vibe really well, but then they'll lie really well. So that's what the body is. The body, your snake, it's a lie that you're using to have sex with other spirits. This is why I use the caduceus to enter simulations, because it represents I'm doing this in my individual way. So now the medical industry steals my idea and is using it to make bajillions of dollars because this whole New World Order thing is stolen from indigenous individuals. But of course, the truth is on Google. They just don't teach it in school, and they're going to use it to make money in movies, right? They'll talk about this stuff in movies. They'll have it on the internet, but they're not going to actually acknowledge it in the real world, because that's not the point of lying, right? Like, to actually effectively lie, you have to use something that's real. So all this system that's stolen from Hermes and my past lives, that's real. And of course, it's still real because here we are in a world that's constantly still obsessed with the caduceus, obsessed with Mercury, obsessed with astrology, obsessed with spirituality in general, obsessed with the emerald tablets of Thoth. How did I build the pyramids? All of that shit, because it used to be normal knowledge until this New World Order government was like, let's reset time. And now we literally think it's 2022. What? Like, now all of a sudden humans are like, yeah, it's 2022 now. Once that time reset, humanity became ignorant. This is why climate change is a thing and why I have to be here now speaking English. And I'm like having such a hard time translating my past lives into English, but best believe it's the mission. All right, it's the mission. This language is just, but that's the point of Dissect the Dialect. All right, so check that out. Again, it's on the website. I put all this out for free. The whole point of Dissect the Dialect is showing you how elements only make sense through numbers. So literally think of my element as my soul and my number as my body. And my soul only makes sense because I'm using a body to stabilize it, right? So if I didn't have a body to express myself right now, would this make sense? Right? Like, would I be able to really communicate with you? The whole point is, if I just had my soul, I would be alone in my own space. So I have to create a body and vibrate it at a certain frequency, like I'm doing now, to actually communicate my mind through it. So then this is where, if I were to kill this body, all I would do is separate my mind from this simulation and take all the experiences that I've gathered up to this point with me. That simple. And then I'd be alone in my space again. And then I could go hang out with my family. I can go hang out with all the people that I'm actually connected to, instead of feeling like I'm an extension of someone else that I just got taught about when I learned this new language called English. Let me look at these comments. Some of these comments were ignorant. My bad. But obviously, like, ignorant people aren't going to stay for long. So this is where, like, it's a natural cycle. This is how trees grow, right? This is literally resonance. So people who come in here, if they don't resonate with what I'm about, then they leave. That's how trees grow. So you can literally like watch a tree grow based on individual spirits connecting, just like we're doing on this live stream. Your body, let's say your body is a tree. The caduceus represents not just trees, but your body. Your spine is your tree. So your body is literally a bunch of spirits constantly connecting on the idea of supporting you. be grateful for your body. This is why we water fast. So like truly, like be so grateful. So the whole point of water, me as Hermes, Mercury. Mer is water, Curie is air. So when I'm here as Chase Clarence Calloway, tripling my C, talking about how water connects all spaces in the universe, because water is an expression of the soul, because water is the only thing that can kill our egos. So we can actually create a circumstance where we can communicate through something that allows us to seem more grounded, right? Because obviously people who like don't resonate with me, they tell me that I'm in my ego. And I can see as Hermes, they're literally just talking about the alchemy of their soul isn't vibing at the same frequency as my soul, because my frequency is my ego. So because my vibration's up here and their vibration's here, they're like, oh, you're in your ego. And it's like, okay, the ego is the eagle. So even right there, boom, the whole point as the eagle in your ego is that you can fly and see everything. So as Hermes, the representation of my ego is being able to fly around the universe and see everything. And that's only possible because I have my own simulation that the universe calls Mercury. So what I'm doing right now is CymaTree, Chase Clarence Calloway, is bringing Mercury to Earth in English, because everything on the internet is like super lies. The whole point of English was to erase the indigenous truth of how you create life. That's why people have so many depression issues and have so many health problems in the world and just so many problems overall. We literally have lost the ancient wisdom that I originally shared this in the Emerald Tablets before they were stolen. And now you can look up the Emerald Tablets on Amazon, right? And see how there's a bunch of different people who have translated them. There's like 3 different people claiming that they're in communion with me as Tahuti, as Thoth. And like literally, I already broke down all those series. That's like many hours. All right. So check out Tablet Talks. That's on YouTube, because all these Emerald Tablets are the same. That's where I have to write my own new ones in English now, because the whole point was to whitewash them and make you believe that you are not good enough. It's so sad. All right. Literally though, like no cap. That's all I'm reading in these Emerald Tablets. I'm like, I would never say this. You do see me hop up here on these live streams and talk about how you're not good enough, bro. I can't even imagine. And this is what religions do. Like, this is like what Christianity has been my whole life. Like me as Chase, just learning how I'm not good enough to be alone and how I need to worship someone else. But it's all an ideas being stolen from me as Hermes. So now I'm literally forced to connect with myself through water fasting. All right. I'm forced to be an individual because I'm in a world where I'm being told with my own creations that I'm not creative. So this is my awakening journey. All right. Me being up here in general, just expressing myself and creating more, but in English, and not trying to hold on to the old stuff because I don't care. But at the same time, that's my soul. So that's what I'm building upon. So I'm CymaTree. It's about the balance. This is what I'm here for. All right. This English language is garbage, but we're alchemizing it into gold. All right. GG, garbage into gold. It's gang. Let's see. I went on a 2-day fast. On the second morning, I woke up throwing up. My mom made me eat a banana. Yo, I throw up on fast a bit. It doesn't happen now. It would happen more when I started. Like when I did my 24 days in downtown Chicago before my senior year of college, I was throwing up, and I was throwing up mainly because I was trying to take supplements. So this is something that I learned big in fasting. You link in my bio. You can go read way more about fasting. It's all about being a spiritual superhero, literally raising your vibration to the point where like you are your own superhero. But I was having problems with fasting back then because I was thinking that I needed to like keep taking like nutrients. You know, like I thought I needed to keep taking vitamins, and my body, like I had to learn the true intelligence of the body. And when you're fasting, your body's like resetting in a hyper intelligent way that allows it to like heal itself, literally just more intelligently than like you think that you have to. So this is like the point of water fasting. Like water is literally like when the longer you water fast, the more your spirit can move through your cells in a way that raises your vibration. And that's all you're doing right now, right? Like your space is moving through something so you can create and wake up and go do life and express yourself. So when you're drinking more and more water, that's you getting connected more to your soul, and your space is able to work through you more. So this is literally why every religion is about fasting. Again, every religion they took from me as Hermes, because I literally came as Mercury talking about fasting. And so now every Messiah in every religion fast because all they can do is weaponize the spiritual truths that I shared eons ago and then turn it into something that you're supposed to worship instead of doing yourself. So the only way I've broken out of Christianity and connected with myself to learn who I am is literally doing this for years now, doing this myself. All right. So that's why we have Always Ascending Academy. All right. ChaseYourGenes.com. It's gang, gang. So yeah, throwing up, like, it sucks, but it's a detox symptom. All right. So it's truly like your body wants to get rid of fluids, and your mom, shout out moms. I love my mom so much. Your mom definitely kind of did the right thing, like making you eat a banana. I totally get why. Because, I mean, the best thing, no, like literally, because a potassium supplement wouldn't have done it. The banana with that potassium, you definitely required those electrolytes to stay hydrated. A big issue why people can't actually fast well is because they don't actually know how to hold on to the water that they're drinking. So then people think they're dying. People think they're dying, and they're like, Chase, this is wrong. You're messed up. How could you fast like this? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, bro, you're just not actually hydrated. It's like as simple as that, and we're in a world that's chronically dehydrated because they poison our water and they don't teach us the importance of drinking water. So, hey, I threw the banana back up, then continued the fast and felt fine. Shout out you. It was just your body detoxing. There it is. And that's real too, because like eating a lot, I'm saying a lot of the time, sometime, but like a good amount of the time when you eat, it is to give your body the opportunity to like throw more up. It's weird, like fasting detoxing it gets rough. All right. That's why we have a whole course. Because it gets really deep, like it gets really rough, and it stops a lot of people from doing it like safely and effectively or whatever. Yes, sir. Any books you recommend? I mean, you can read whatever book your spirit calls you to. I guess if I had to recommend 2 books that helped me in my life the most, the 2 best books that I love, The Genie Within. That book is fire. 48 Laws of Power. That book is also fire. The Genie Within is like the most simple spiritual book I've probably ever come across. I guess there's also The Power of Now. That's a fine book. 48 Laws of Power is a very physical book, and it definitely helps dealing with the mental state and psychology of the world we're in, and like helps you like navigate the psychological waters that we're connecting inside of as a consciousness, right? On my fast, I realized how much of our experience in life is based on the consumption of things. Literally, I mean, hippie traveler, man. Didn't we have to consume this language every day for us to regurgitate it like it matters? Snap. I mean, I have to consume air if I want my air, if I want my mind to keep communicating through this body. So, yeah, for real, it's true. We all just consume. Yeah, man. It was a crazy thing to realize. What's the number 1 book you recommend I read? Okay, so Genie Within. Genie Within is nice because Genie Within, I read that book back in like 6th, 7th grade. And that is the book that got me talking to my spirit like my whole life. So even though I was in Christianity and I was still underneath the Jesus system and like worshiping something outside of myself, I was constantly talking to my higher self about life because he felt like my only friend. He felt like the only person who understood me. And it was literally Iracel that led me through years of just my whole life. To then fast and like deprogram my mind and get up to this point, and then learn about all my past lives and learn about what we've done up to this point. So this is what I'm talking about then, the relationship of spirit and body. your spirit as the observer is nothing, and it has to create something to observe so it can learn about itself. So I, as a spirit, as the observer, am not in this simulation. I literally have to create something and then feel like connecting with this simulation in order to communicate into it. And then that's where my awareness is limited in this simulation based on what's relatable. So this is where now this body and this brain, right, it's a receiver. I'm processing these memories and stuff. I'm limited to communicating in the way that this brain has been programmed. If I separate my mind from my body, I can go do anything anywhere else. You're just not going to see it because here we are in this earth realm. Gang. We still live in the Roman Empire. Absolutely. Everything is math. Everything is math. Everything is math. Because elements only make sense through numbers. So literally, like, my element as a soul, I can only express myself through a body. So I literally need this number to stabilize my feelings. Right? So now we can't have either or without. So you can think of masculine energy as the number that stabilizes the feminine energy. And you can think of the feminine energy as the element that actually makes the man matter. So they need both. Like women make men matter and men stabilize women. So then that's just where we get fire and water. And then the interplay of how that becomes air, which settles into earth. And now we build families on earth forever and ever and ever. How do I find out about my past lives if I've had any? Water fast. Let go of all my egos. Your soul has all of your past lives. So Akashic records, again, like all of that stuff is cool. That's like ancient cultures talking about what we're making personal for you. So this is like everything on the internet is like weaponized truth. But the point is, we don't want you tapping into something outside of yourself. Only your spirit knows about your past lives. So you had to get connected through your own soul. And then that's where we get actually spiritually water fasting on that level. Because then you can start to literally raise your vibration to where you're more aware of your space than this space. Just make it scientific, you know, just make it scientific. Like on a scientific level, the longer you fast, you become more aware of your spirit than you do a physical reality. And now you're able to actually create more intentionally inside of physical reality instead of feeling like you have to keep eating physical reality and be scared of what's coming the next day and the next day and constantly be in reaction, because there's no room for fear when you trust yourself. All right. So a lot of people are scared in the world because they're so disconnected from their space. They don't have the trust of being connected with their spirit. And that's the trials and tribulations of being in a body, right? Because the moment you're experiencing life in a body, you are in a space outside of yourself. So I'm not in control of what's happening around me. I'm only in control of my space and how I communicate. The idea that there's one God controlling all of us is completely not only wrong, it denies science, nature, basic spirituality, and the fact that we're all individuals organically connecting from our individual spaces. All right, so I have to listen to you tell me about your perspective in order to actually learn about who you are. I'm not ignorant enough as Hermes, to feel like I'm about to fly into a simulation and tell you who you are. I can tell you how you create life, but now that you're aware of how you create life, only you can learn about yourself to let me know who you are. And then that's the point of heart or art, hot art, literally earth, the hearth, the heart, your earth is you creating art, and your heart is constantly beating, constantly pumping blood through your vibration. So that's what art is. You know, and then that's just where, like, that's how I view life as God. Like, you have to create art to express yourself. Like, there's no other God taking credit for my creations. That's disgusting. Like, boo, shame on you. Whoever's telling me that someone else owns my art when I'm the solo artist, boo, shame on you. Let go of my egos. Absolutely. Through fasting and meditation, that's how you do it. All right, y'all. Do you fast and take sea moss? That's so funny. People are obsessed with sea moss now. Like, out of nowhere, like, people have just kept like bombarding me with sea moss and like making comments like, make sure you take sea moss. And I'm just like, all right, like, clearly that's a wave. That's hilarious. I have different plant materials like sea moss. Yeah, fantastic. There's other plants from the ocean. We are talking about making sure you have the right minerals that humans used to get way more normally, right? But now our water is messed up. No secret. Now everything that we consume is like alchemized into messed up garbage and everything. So yeah, we literally have to go out of our way to actually get the proper nutrients to heal our body. That's hilarious. I don't like spirituality. It makes people do evil things and push their views on others. You're talking about religion. Spirituality is knowing that you're alone. So everything is spirituality. Like, just the fact that you're aware of your space is you as a spirit having an ego. So the only way that you could literally communicate with me right now is if you felt like using your soul to connect your ego. And then that's only possible because you're using a mind to communicate through a body. So I just described to you how you're using Hermetic alchemy to create life right now, so you can experience whatever you want, right? So now you can have all these ideas, but the point is you can only do it because your heart's beating and your blood is pumping. You can only do it because you're breathing air. You can only do it because you're a water-based being. Your life only matters because you have your own imagination and your own ideas. And the more consistently you express that, you literally have an ego in the world, so people see you as whatever you want, right? Or whoever you are. So I'm explaining to you how you literally have to create life to exist. That's spirituality. Religion is someone looking at you creating life and being like, oh, I own you. All the indigenous peoples here in the Americas creating life as individuals. Christians come over. Oh, I own you. And then they just make infinite money using horrible genocide to take over everything and lie about it. All right. That's what you're talking about. Religion. Religion makes people do evil things and push their views on others, because religion is someone projecting their imagination onto you. That's not indigenous. I, as Mercury, literally built a simulation where I perceive the projections of everyone else. So I see all the religions in the universe. I see that they're all individuals who just want to connect with other individuals. And when you hear me say that, you're like, oh, yeah. Duh. Like, duh. But how are they connected? They're connected by all of us as spirits being individuals. God damn. This world makes me so mad. Oh my God. And my phone's tweaking. Leave me alone. All right. We're okay. Okay. King right here. Interesting. There are multiple things that happen when natural processes occur, not just consumption. Right. By Harry W. Carpenter. Yes. The Genie Within. I'm going to start teaching quantum physics and mechanics to people. Yeah, go ahead. Do you. Learn who you got to be. Are you talking about astral projection? So astral projection, man, these words are funny. So, okay, there's what people want to experience when they're talking about astral projection, right, is separating their mind from their body and experiencing a different atmosphere. So like that would literally be like, so that's me as Metatron. My spirit is Metatron, shares the creation of the Merkabah. So you can look up the Merkabah. In Jewish mysticism, it's all about the light vehicle. It's all about your mind. And they call it the chariot of God, because you are literally as God, as the ego of your spirit, the awareness of your space, sitting inside of this chi air that you have communicated into existence. And that atmosphere is your mind. So now you're able to create life with other gods. So that's what I'm doing right now. So even though this looks like a body to me, it looks like I as a spirit am sitting in my Merkabah and I'm sending these neuron impulses through my body like God, commanding this body to do this and that. And I'm doing it on such a micro level, it just looks like communication with you because it's so subconscious. But like I as a spirit am watching all of the complexities that have to go into me making a sentence right now, especially because I'm a Gemini. So it's like there's so many thoughts that like I can't even express to you. And I have to like use Earth, Virgo, and Taurus energy to actually ground it. So my Taurus is my body. So people in physical reality perceive me as a Taurus. People in the astral realm perceive me as a Virgo. That's Mercury. But people in like my real spirit realm, That's my Gemini energy. But all this comes together for a personality, right? Because the whole point is that I, as a spirit, am observing my space. But if I want to interact with other spaces, I have to create something that I can feel like I'm connected to. So I'm only able to connect with you because I've created a body that I feel like I'm connected to. So now I can feel like I'm connected to all the other bodies that this body's connected to. And then that's how I make a friend. Right. And then that's how I learn a language. And then that's how I travel the world and do this and that and like just make art that's relevant to the world versus just being in here like projecting some imagination. So yeah, that's astral projection, is knowing that you can take your mind from your body and go to a different atmosphere, and your body will keep breathing and keep living, and your heart will keep beating because your spirit soul is still vibrating that body. That's like, this is, again, you can look me up as Hermes and see how I'm the interdimensional communicator. This is what the caduceus represents, is about tripling your C. In Atlantis, all right, you're not going to find this on the internet, whatever. In Atlantis, they call me the cosmic chi conductor. All right, so that was something that I had to learn from fasting, literally, and decolonizing my mind from this world. And then figuring out, like, why am I Chase Clarence Calloway? What's the caduceus? Why am I talking about colonialism and climate change and Christianity and creation and communication? Just all these C words. And then C is the 3, right? So it's about the air. So it's literally about the chi. So I'm the chi that communicates throughout the whole universe. That's literally, again, just me as Hermes with my caduceus flying around the universe. So my spirit right now, hanging out on Mercury, is still creating bodies in other simulations that I'm expressing myself through. But that has nothing to do with this body. So every body that I experience my spirit through is connected by one web, right? Think about Spider-Man, like interdimensional Spider-Man, like that's from Mercury, straight up. Like that's all about interdimensional communication with yourself and knowing that you yourself are connected to all your other Spider-Man bodies. With great power comes great responsibility. That's Hermes. That's Hermes. All right. That's all Hermetic. Okay. The whole Bible is Hermetic. We'll get into that in a later live stream. But again, you can like Google all this and see that I'm just making what is already true make way more sense, because all they can do is weaponize the truth to get people lost in the lie. And the ultimate lie that everyone's lost in is that we are energy. Like I was taught growing up that energy cannot be created or destroyed, yet I literally have to create energy to fast as much as I do. So I know that's a lie now. And that's why I have this confidence to communicate about it like this. Is too much water fasting unhealthy? Too much of anything is unhealthy. Like I normally only fast 2 days out of the week, but might go longer. Oh, you can definitely go longer for sure. Yeah. Hippie Traveler Man says you can go longer, and we're going to have to concur there. Jesus loves you guys. He absolutely loves me. I know, but I love myself more than he loves me. Like if I love being alone, then why am I supposed to worship him to go somewhere I don't want to go? He gave his life for us and took the debt of our sins up with him. But I'm not sinful. So now you have to teach me that I did something wrong to feel like I need to worship someone else. And then especially historically, when I know that I as an indigenous man, especially I as Hermes, am way older than the idea of Jesus, now I would actually be stupid to believe in someone who literally was created with my ideas. And I've done that most of my life. And it only led me to literally asking this question. All right. Because this is my gripe with Christians then about Jesus. Why are you worshiping the sacrifice of a man who fasted instead of doing it yourself? Because what changed my life was, instead of worshiping the sacrifice of Jesus, being like, hold up, wait, if he had to fast to talk to God, maybe I need to fast to talk to God. And then I did that. And then I learned who I really was from past lives. And now here I am talking about spirituality. So what? Like what, when I fasted, like you're going to tell me my fasting doesn't matter. I'm still supposed to worship this other guy as the one true God. When I was alone in my space, I learned about my past lives and how I'm way older than this concept. Right. So this is why projection is perception. Welcome to hell. I'm in hell. I'm literally in hell when I'm interacting with spirits outside of myself, because I can only be perceived as far as they project at me. All right. So that's just, again, this is Hermeticism. All right. Next time, do 3 days and 4 days. Yeah, yeah. Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father but by me. Right, cool. And that's literally a whole idea that is way newer than Babylon and Egypt and Atlantis and all of these past lives. So you literally don't care about history. And that's fine. Like, you just don't care about the logical history of how Jesus came to be. You would just rather say that we all need to worship this idea so you can be comfortable connecting with us. And that's fine. That's what colonialism is. Honestly, I've learned a lot from sitting here listening. Thanks so much. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're all just consciousness. We are all just consciousness controlling the body. I don't like this word just, hippie traveler, man. Just literally makes it sound like you're limited and then that's it. So the point is, as the observer, you are infinite. And if you want to experience what you're observing, which is your imagination and how you feel about your imagination, then you create consciousness. That's the energy that you create to express life. So me building Mercury, I can only build Mercury with my energy. That's my consciousness. Mercury isn't created by energy that was already created by someone else just transforming. And I'm just, no. It's literally energy created from my space. And that's what consciousness is. So I am not the energy I'm creating to experience myself. Again, that makes no sense. It makes no sense. Because as the observer, I know that there is a time before I made this energy to experience this form of consciousness here. And I've experienced many forms of consciousness to get up to this point. And I will experience more going forward. The whole point is that we're just growing as individual forms of consciousness, right? So now I, as a spirit, based on how I connect with myself over and over throughout the universe, my consciousness communicates differently than yours. And that represents me as an individual. Well, sign is 4 fingers down. I created a rock and went to the moon and saw the spirits and went around the sun and back. Wow, that sounds very fun. My body keeps breathing as a world on the ocean and swim in lava. Yeah. Outer comics of the spiral. Homicide too low and the bebop comes around and circles the moon. And the caduceus is the Baldushi's match in the comment spiritual hoo-poo connected to the comment Lulu. That should be a new Bible. The chi communicate with he who communicates with the she, and the pronouns live happily ever after. That's so funny. Yeah. This person is a poet. All right. So yeah, peace, my brother. Wow. So informative you have. I'm so impressed. Glad I'm here. Hey, welcome for joining. All right. Because this is the place to be. I've had my accounts suppressed a good amount because that's just how they treat Hermes. All right. This is why you can literally look up how the Illuminati and just in general, the Freemasonic order stole everything from Hermes. They're obsessed with Hermeticism. They're obsessed with Egypt. They're obsessed with the pyramids. They're obsessed with Atlantis. All right. Like literally, have you seen this show Inside Job? There is a show called Inside Job on Netflix. It's literally about the shadow government and how they control everything with money from behind the scenes, and they manufacture war. And literally they drop Atlantis so much in that show and drop Anubis in that show. And it's so weird to me. And it could only be weird to me because I'm the only one connected to Atlantis like this. So now here I am talking about, check out Inside Job. Because it's literally just a shadow government revealing themselves in a cartoon where they can say that they're making fun of conspiracies online. But it's literally just all them revealing what they've been doing. And it's like, this is their witchcraft, by the way. Like, this is why I'm creating predictive programming, because all these movies that we've watched are them putting what they've been doing in the world in plain sight in something that is easily supportable. And now people can be like, oh, that's just entertainment. But if it was just entertainment, then why is it relatable enough for you to care about? Like, movies and these shows, they can't just be entertainment, because that would mean that they're rooted in lies. And if they're rooted in lies, no one would find them relatable enough to pay millions of dollars to care about them. All right. This is why all stories have to be rooted in truth. We only resonate with the truth. The water is the truth. That's what connects us. All right. But of course, our imaginations are lies. So the only way that you can perceive my imagination, right? You can say I'm lying about everything I'm saying right now because I'm projecting my imagination. But the truth is I am saying it. So you can't deny that truth. So now we can see how water, the vibration, is making my imagination real. But you can just be like, that imagination, that's a lie. And then it's like, okay, well, what's true? What's true is, and now you're going to express your imagination. And I'm like, that's just the whole universe. For like, this is why, bro, man, hermit mode. All right, this is why I created Hermeticism. Way better to be alone. All right, people too chaotic. Way too chaotic. I create energy in the cupcake, put it on the brownie, put a hamburger on top and bake it. You're hilarious. Jesus tells you to believe in Allah and convert to Islam. Right, absolutely. Everyone tells you to convert to their thing. It's only going to be me as Hermes telling you to connect with yourself as an individual. Don't convert to something else outside of yourself. Just understand how you're creating life so you can more consciously connect with your own space, and then you can more consciously express whatever you want into the universe. Now you can build your own religion instead of feeling like you need to worship someone else's. You're right. Trying to communicate in this language is a little whack sometimes. Absolutely. And then, yeah, why Yahawashi is the real Most High. People are obsessed with this Most High idea. That's super weird. Like, why are you talking about highness? Like, bro, I'm literally hanging out on Mercury for eons. There's no Most High spirit. All right. So you can't even perceive the things that I've seen. You haven't been in the atmospheres I have. You're just saying that there's a Most High because you believe in a system that, again, I built. So I know way more about your religion than you. You're just repeating your religion because it's makes you feel comfortable. It's the world you're in. I get it. The attachment. All right. I understand how the attachment to religion works. It's infinite through the universe. All right. Like, it's not special. Like every religion is individuals connecting with other individuals, and then they create a story to make that relatable. And now it's up to you whether you relate with that religion or not. Right. Because like the Bible is really apocalyptic and violent. There's many other religious books that aren't that violent. So it takes a special kind of soul to resonate with that book and be like, yeah, this is the expression of one true God, slavery and genocide. Like, you see, so, man, it really is resonance, whatever. Okay, and I guess, should I block this person? No, whatever, it doesn't matter. Words or spells. Everyone just say what they want. Art imitates life, and life is art. So, hey, your heart is art. All right. Art only matters because of your heart. Your life only matters because of your heart and your art. We cannot avoid it. Gang, 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 gang. So I'm about to hop off of here. I'm just about to explain real quick the elements. So now you can see how the elements play out in reality forever. Okay. Forever. Any religion, no matter what religion you look at. All right. About to give you the keys. Just know that the word God represents fire. All right, I'm going to start with that right now. God is fire. So every religion, like they like to talk about God and angels being fire. That's because it's the expression of an individual imagination that no one can see but that spirit. So your imagination is God. And anytime you send out a thought to communicate God, that's literally you sending out an angel, or you're figuring out an angle of light to make your imagination real. So that's literally God forever, sending out angels to make his imagination real. That's not one person controlling all of us. That's you communicating yourself into existence right now. It's just that's only possible when you, as God, as the actual individual spirit, have a soul that you can connect with other souls. Otherwise, you're going to be building heaven alone. So, like, you can just be alone in your imagination, sending out angels as God forever and like being with your fire. But like at some point, you're going to want to connect with other spirits. So then this is where you create water. So your water is your ability to connect your God with other gods. And then that's how you show your ego to other egos. So now we get the idea like, oh, stars look like fire, but they're really water. All right. It's just that stars are spirits using fire to express their imagination. Stars are spirits using water to express their fire. Stars are spirits using connection to express their individuality, because you can only appear and be an individual inside of a collective. So this is the point of stars, literally. Okay. And then that's like all realities, just like infinite, like realms, like each realm, like boom, it's a star. It's a bunch of spirits connecting and stabilizing how they connect. And then that's where we get fire and water coming together to be the mind. So you have to create the atmosphere that sustains life before you can even communicate it into existence. So that takes a lot of internal alchemy. And that's where we get the natural subconscious creation process that keeps life going. But if we're not in touch with this, then we cause climate change, right? We have problems like the world that we're in right now, get huge problems because we're not actually perceiving how we're creating the environment we're in to connect with one another. So now we're so lost in consuming the environment, we're about to destroy this simulation. All right. That's literally what the New World Order has been on, just making people overeat so that they can destroy this world that we're in. And now it's literally up to us whether we want to stop eating and raise our vibrations so we can be more creative than consumptive. Otherwise, we're going to keep consuming what was already created, and everything that's been created is only meant to hinder us. So that's just where, when you know that your mind is your air, then you can literally understand how you can travel anywhere in the universe. Anywhere, any air in the universe, any atmosphere in the universe, you can take your mind there in your Merkabah and you can experience that light, because life is light. It's literally just, this body is just a bunch of light bending in on itself. So when I separate my mind from this body and go to Atlantis, that's just different light in a different atmosphere, but it's the same exact elemental structure and it's the same thing playing out. It's all elements being channeled through numbers so that we can, as spirits, make sense of how we connect with each other. So then that's where we get the body. So the body, as your earth, is what your mind is settling into. So literally my mind's constantly communicating, right? But it's settling into this body so I can actually animate it in a way that brings my communication to earth. So my mind is me in heaven, my body is me in hell, but my body being in hell exists on earth. So it's up to me to bring heaven to earth. It makes no sense for me to get lost in someone else's system and think I need to go to their heaven when I know I came here from Mercury, when I came here from my world. So now all I'm going to do is be arguing with this person who's telling me I need to go to their heaven because they don't care about who I am. They just care about making me connect with them in a way that keeps them comfortable. And that is what has caused a genocide of indigenous peoples. So we're not about that anymore. All right. That's not what this realm is about. All right. I know that the genocide of indigenous peoples has been very profitable and prosperous for a long time up to this point. But the whole point of this spiritual awakening, all right, if there's any spiritual ascension that's going to be going on in this realm, it's going to be people actually developing empathy for individuals. And then this is where everything's going to change here. And that's only you can only truly have empathy for someone else when you have empathy for yourself. And empathy itself is water. Empathy itself is connection. Empathy itself is the emotion that allows you to feel like someone else has gone through the same experience you have. Literally, because both of us as water beings are going through the same realm. So we can have kind of empathy for each other on the human level because we've created a situation where our egos have been killed by this water cycle and we're experiencing a grounded reality. So now no matter what our imaginations are, we're grounded here and we can relate on that, right? But at the same time, we're here expressing our imagination. So it's this balance. That's where fire, water, air, and earth turn into plasma. So now you have blood. Literally think of your blood as a combination of fire, water, air, and earth. And your spirit is using these to transform itself from nothing into something. So you're constantly pumping blood through your body so you can create something. And that's your life. And then that's where you get 5 and 6. So as to Hootie, this is my number stuff. Like literally 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 is your fire, 2 is your water, 3 is the air, 4 is the earth, 5 is the plasma, that's your blood, that's death. And then 6 is sex, because we're all using blood to have sex. And that's all life. Everything in all of life is spirits transforming blood so they can create life together. Gang. And what does that do? That creates 7. So the 7 is the consciousness that allows you to more consciously have sex, right? So we all came into this world because people had sex, but we don't have sex the same way. We don't create the same way. We're not the same artists. So even though we all have sex, that's the balance, that's the 6, our consciousness separates us, and that's 7. But then once we have 7, what can we do with our consciousness once we're separate but connect with people that resonate with us? And that's 8, resonate. So once you have your higher form of consciousness, all you're going to do is connect with other forms of consciousness. And once you have this 8, now you realize who you truly are, and that's 9. So this is why there's only 9 numbers in the universe, all right? 9 dimensionality is realizing that you are using your consciousness to connect with other forms of consciousness inside of a universe, because you have a soul that you feel like connecting with spirits outside of yourself. This is $1 trillion information. It's hilarious. This is everything that they stole from the Emerald Tablets and have been weaponizing against the world up to this point. All right, so you can visit Chaser Jeans if you want to read way more. All right, I kept this pretty basic and just good for TikTok or whatever. So let's see. Yeah, thanks for going live. Appreciate you. Appreciate you too. Stars are us. Listening to the Earth Realms. I feel you. Do you want kids in the future? I was just talking about this yesterday too. Like when I was reflecting on my past lives, bro, and I'm like, I don't need kids this time. Kids erase your individuality. I'm not here to not be an individual. I've already had kids. It's cool. It's whatever. Literally, kids, let me just be negative about kids real quick. Kids are whack because you are forced to be responsible for someone that you're not in control of. Bro, so whack. So I'm literally forced to be responsible for someone outside of myself. Hardest job in the world being a parent. All right. Literally, it's so hard. It's so hard. It takes away all your individuality. It takes away all your time. And it's just the biggest sacrifice. The only reason I would have a kid is because I wanted to sacrifice my life for someone else. And that's not what this life is about. I'm not here there's too many kids in the world who've already been born. This world specifically, right? Having a kid is an ego thing. Having a kid is okay, I want my genes to continue. They need to be my physical genes. But it's when you're on a spiritual thing of not caring about being super connected or attached to that world, then that's just where I'd rather take care of foster kids that people already had. See what's up. The anxiety that comes with looking after someone for your whole life. For real, though. Shout out parents out there. Being a parent is the hardest job in the world. Truly, truly, truly. All right. So, yes, anyone can have kids. Right. Do what you want. People are so reactive to statements. It's hilarious. Do what you want. If you want to have kids, have kids. Of course, I'm just letting you know what comes with kids. Sacrifice. All the sacrifice, your individuality. You do not get to be an individual. You do not get to go on a trip. Bro, it's just so whack to be responsible for someone you're not in control of. And if you don't have a kid that's grateful for you, then they're literally just consuming you. So I'm so grateful to my mom. My mom loves me. Oh my God. And it's all because of just this subconscious stuff of me having already been a parent. I know how a parent would want to feel. So I've subconsciously as a kid been operating that with my mom of okay, she is a kid. You feel like she sacrificed her life to have me. Let me have all the infinite graciousness and gratitude because I get that. All right. Biggest respect. Okay. She does not have her individuality. She sacrificed so much so I can be an individual. So this is the compromise of you have to connect with others to create the situation to be an individual. Right. So my mom and dad had to connect for me to be able to be here right now. And that's nature. All right. So this is how sex creates consciousness. All right. And now here I am realizing who I am just by speaking right now. So much love to y'all. All right. Check out link in the bio. We go really deep with it. Again, I just can't go as deep as I want to here. So gang, gang, gang. Peace.